Learners, welcome back on the class of design of concrete structure. So I hope you all are safe and doing well. So in the last class I have discussed about how to design the one-way slab. So for the design of one-way slab, I told you that firstly we have to check the slab is either one-way slab or two-way slab. So with the help of Ly by Lx, we will decide how the slab is one-way or two-way. So if the ratio longer span to the shorter span is greater than 2, then such type of slab is called one-way slab, otherwise two-way slab. So for the design steps, we have seen the first step is we have to compute the load, that is live load, dead load and floor finishing, and after that we have computed the effective span. So effective span for a simply supported beam is the sum of clear span plus effective depth or sum of clear span plus width of the support. After that we have computed the maximum bending moment occurs in the beam, and with the help of that maximum bending moment we have computed the effective depth. After that there are various check we have seen, that is for the shear, for the development length. So today I am going to discuss problems related to the one-way slab. So let us take one problem. So a continuous slab is supported over 300 mm wide supports as shown in figure. So the figure is given. This is for the slab. The span is, this is 12 meter, and this portion is brick width is equal to 300 mm. Another slab and the continuation of this width is 4.3 meter. Let us take A, B, C. Live load is given 8 kilonewton per meter square. Floor finishing 60 mm thick flooring, and it is given marble flooring. Design slab A using M25 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel. Use limit state method. So we have to use limit state method. So this is the figure given in the question, and we have to design slab A. So this is slab A using M25 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel. In this question live load is given and floor finishing is given. So firstly we have to check, the first step is we have to check whether this slab is one way or two way. So the first check is Ly by Lx. So longer span is given 12 meter and the shorter span is 4.3. So it is coming 2.79, which is greater than 2. So this is the one way slab. As I told you earlier, if Ly by Lx greater than 2, then design the slab for one-way slab. So the step first, I told you that load calculation. So in the load calculation, effective depth of the slab required. So effective depth of slab required for the load calculation. So for deflection criteria, I told you for a continuous slab. So for continuous slab, L by D is equal to 26 if our span is less than 10 meter. So our here shorter span is 4.3 meter, so it is less than 10 meter. So effective depth can be computed. So effective depth is equal to span by 26. So 4300 divided by 26. So effective depth is coming 165.38. So this is the criteria for limit state of serviceability. So provide effective depth D is equal to 170 mm, and cover I have assumed for the slab is 30 mm. So gross depth or overall depth is equal to effective depth plus cover. So 170 plus 30, that is 200 mm. So with the help of this we can compute the live load. So live load is nothing but WL into 1 into 1, and live load is given 8 kilonewton per meter square. So it is coming 8 kilonewton per meter square. Similarly, floor finishing can be computed. Floor finishing. So thickness of floor TF into 1 into 1 into unit weight 24 kilonewton per meter square. So 0.6 into 1 into 1 into 24. So it is coming 1.14 kilonewton per meter square. So dear learner, till now I have discussed how to compute the load in the slab, and before that I have checked for whether the slab is one-way slab or two-way slab. So firstly, in any problem we have to check whether our slab is given in either one-way slab or two-way slab. So with the help of longer span and shorter span, the ratio of longer span and shorter span we have to check, and if this value exceeds 2, then our slab falls in one-way slab, otherwise it will be two-way slab. After that we have computed load calculation. So load is due to the floor finishing, live load and thickness of floor we have computed. So total load is sum of these threes. After that I have computed the effective depth. So in the question, slab is given as a continuous beam and the span is according to shorter span it is given 4.3. So we know according to IS 456-2000 deflection criteria or limit state of serviceability criteria that span to effective depth ratio should be 26 for a continuous beam or slab when our span is less than 10 meter. So with the help of that we have computed the effective depth, and I have provided cover is 30 mm. So we have computed the overall depth. So after that I am going to compute the effective span. So since it is given continuous beam, so effective span in a continuous beam there are two cases. One case when our width of support is less than 1/12 of the span, then effective span is same as the simply supported beam. Otherwise, if the width of the support is greater than LC by 12, so effective span, once again there are three cases. After that I will calculate the maximum bending moment, and with the help of that maximum bending moment we have to compute the effective depth, and we have to check whether this effective depth will match with the deflection criteria or not. After that there are various checks I will do, that is for shear development length. So self weight of slab, self weight is 0.2 into 1 into 1 into 25. So it is coming 5 kilonewton per meter square, where 0.2 is the overall depth. So total load is equal to sum of live load plus sum of floor finishing plus self weight. So it is coming, live load is 8 plus floor finishing 1.44 plus 5. So it is coming 14.44 kilonewton per square. So design load or factored load is 1.5 times 14.44. So it is coming 21.66 kilonewton per meter square. Second thing, we have to compute effective span. Since it is given continuous beam and width of support is given 300 mm, so firstly I have to compute L0 by 12. So it is coming 4300 by 12, so 358.33. So width of support is less than L0 by 12, so effective span is equal to same as the simply supported, that is LC plus D or LC plus W, whichever is less. So L effective 4.3 plus 0.3 and 4.3 plus 0.17, whichever is less. So it is coming L effective is 4.47 meters. Similarly, L effective for longer span can be computed. So L effective in y direction, Ly plus W or Ly plus D, whichever is less. So Ly is coming 12.17 meter, L effective y direction. So now we can check y direction by x direction, 12.17 divided by 4.47. So once again it is coming greater than 2, so one way slab. Now third step is maximum bending moment. So factor dead load is 1.5 times 6.44, so it is coming 9.66 kilonewton per meter square. We have already computed the dead load. Similarly, factored live load is 1.5 times 8, so 12 kilonewton per meter square. So maximum positive bending moment, is according to IS 456 factor dead load into Lx square plus 1 by 10 factor live load into Lx S square. So 1 by 12 into 9.66 into 4.47 whole square plus 1 by 10 into 12 into 4.47 whole square. So it is coming 40.06 kilonewton meter. Similarly, maximum negative bending moment is coming minus 1 by 10 W du Lx square plus 1 by 9 W Lu into Lx square. So minus 1 by 10 into 9.66 into 4.47 square plus 1 by 9 into 12 into 4.47 square. So it is coming minus 45.94 kilonewton meter. So design for 45.94 kilonewton meter, which magnitude wise it is maximum. So with the help of this bending moment we can compute the effective depth. So depth required according to limit state of collapse. So D is equal to square root of bending moment divided by Q into B. And for Fe415 bending moment coefficient is 0.138 FCK. So bending moment is 45.94 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 0.138 into 25 into B is, we have already, I told you that design of slope for a 1 meter length or 1 meter width. So it is coming 115 mm, which is less than D whatever we have considered. So consider at least D is equal to 170 mm. This is the maximum value. So capital D is 200 mm is okay. Similarly, area of steel can be computed. So area of steel is mu by 0.87 Fy AST D minus 0.42 XU limiting. So it is 45.46 94 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 0.87 into Fy415. Sorry, it's not AST. D is 170 minus 0.42 into 0.48 into 170. So it is coming 813 mm square. So provide 10 mm bars. So number of bars (813) divided by pi by 4 into 10 square, and spacing is 1000 divided by m. So spacing of, if I provide 12 mm diameter bars, so we can compute similarly. So spacing of 12 mm diameter, so it is 1000 by AST into pi by 4 into phi square. So it is coming 1000 divided by 813 into pi by 4 into 12 square. So it is coming 139 mm. So provide 12 mm phi at the rate of 130 mm center to center. Similarly for positive, so for positive, for maximum positive bending moment, we can compute the area of steel. So area of steel positive is, we can also compute it by 0.5 FCK by Fy 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6 into mu divided by FCK into B into D square. This is also the expression to compute the area of steel. So 0.5. So I have written these two formula with the help of that is AST mu limiting is 0.87 FYST d minus 0.42 XU limiting, or with the help of this we can compute. So 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6 into 40.06 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 25 into 1000 into 170 square. So it is coming and into 1000 into 170 into 1000 into 170. So it is coming 700.98 mm square. So a spacing of 10 mm diameter. So 1000 divided by 700.98 into pi by 4 into 10 square. So it is coming 112 mm. So provide 10 mm phi at the rate of 110 center to center. So distribution of bar. So distribution of bar, I told you for Fe415 it is 0.12% of gross area. So 1000 into 200. So it is coming 240 mm square. This is the minimum area. So spacing of 8 mm diameter is 1000 by n. So 1000 by 240 by pi by 4 into 8 square. So it is coming 209 mm. So provide 8 mm phi at the rate of 200 center to center. Similarly, maximum shear force can be computed. Maximum shear force. So Vu is maximum shear force according to IS score into Lx plus 0.6 WLU into Lx. So it is 0.6 into 9.66 into 4.47 plus 0.6 into 12 into 4.47. So it is coming 58.09 kilonewton. So nominal shear stress, nominal shear stress is equal to Vu by B into D. So 58.09 into 10 to the power 3 divided by B is 1000 into D. D is 170. So it is coming 0.34 Newton per mm square. So percent of steel PT is 100 AST by BD. So 100 AST. So AST positive divided by B into D. So 100 into 700.98 divided by 1000 into 170. So it is coming 0.41%. So TOSI M25 can be computed. with the help of code. So when PT and tau c. So when PT is equal to 0.15, tau c value is 0.28, and when PT is 0.25, it is 0.36, and our percentage of steel is 0. And when it is 0.5, so it is 0.48. So with the help of 0.41%, we have to compute tau c. So tau c is coming 0.39 Newton per mm square. So our tau Vu is less than tau c. Safe. Similarly, check for bond. So this is optional. So check for bond, we can compute tau BD is equal to Vu by summation of O into J into D. So Vu is 41.41. So 41.41 into 1000 and summation of O. So 1000 spacing divided by 110 into pi into D. So pi, this is number of bars, so N into pi into D. So pi and 10 mm diameter bars, and J is 1 minus 0.42K, so it is 0.8 into D, where 41.41 is shear force at support. This is Vu at support is 0.4 into 9.66 plus 0.45 into 12, and length is Lx is 4.47. So it is coming 41.41 kilonewton. So with the help of this, we have computed tau BD, and this tau BD should be less than permissible bond shear stress. So tau BD permissible. So for Fe415, increase the value of tau BD by 60%. So 1.4 into 1.6. So it is coming 2.24 Newton per mm square. So 2.24, 1.06 is less than 2.24. So it is okay. So tau BD is less than tau BD permissible. Safe. Similarly, we can also design for the development length, but that is optional in the exam. Whether you will stop here or here, check for the shear, or you can design check for development length. So check for development length can be computed. LD is less than equal to 1.31 M1B by plus L0. So with the help of we can check the development length. So dear learner, today I have discussed one problem related to one-way slab, and in this problem we have seen how to design a slab. So the various steps I will discuss. Firstly, I have to compute the ratio of longer span to shorter span, and with the help of that we have decided whether we have to design for one-way slab or two-way slab. After that, we have checked the effective depth according to the deflection criteria or limit state of serviceability criteria. So for different beam, we know the ratio, L by D ratio, and with the help of that we have computed the effective depth. And after that, I have calculated different load like live load, dead load and floor finishing load. So with the help of that total load we have computed, and with the help of that load, according to the IS 456, bending moment, maximum positive bending moment and maximum negative bending moment we have computed, and out of these we have chosen maximum moment, bending moment, and with the help of this maximum bending moment we have computed the effective depth. And computed effective depth is compared with whatever we have calculated with the deflection criteria, and we have seen that computed effective depth is less than according to whatever we have computed with the deflection criteria. So we have provided the D we have calculated from the deflection criteria, and we have designed for the overall depth. After that, we have checked various tests like for shear check. So we have computed the shear force at the support, and with the help of that we have computed the nominal shear stress, and this nominal shear stress is compared with the shear strength of concrete. After that, we have computed the permissible bond shear stress and tau BD, and we have checked whether it is less than or equal to permissible bond shear stress. After that, we can also check, that is optional for the check for the development length also. So in the coming class, I will discuss two-way slab, and in two-way slab there are two very famous methods, that is Marcus method and Rankine-Grashof theory. So take care of your health and happy learning.